What is going on, everyone? A huge thank you for clicking on the video. I greatly appreciate that as always. Now, today we are witnessing history on the channel, and that is because I am taking a look at my first ever physical DS ROM hack in the form of none other than Pokemon True Soul for the Nintendo DS. Yes, Pokemon True Soul for the Nintendo DS. I know Game Boy is my bread and butter, right? I absolutely love the first 3 generations of Pokemon, but I also love the DS generation of Pokemon. And I have wanted to, kind of get my foot in the door with the DS ROM hacking community for a very long time now. I've had several of you suggest it. And so I happened to come across this sucker on AliExpress. I know, buyer beware, I cannot recommend enough to just avoid AliExpress altogether. But I saw this and I figured I should probably strike now, just like I said, get my foot in the door and see what's up with the DS Pokemon ROM hack community. So that's what we're doing today with True Soul. So True Soul, for those who may not know this, is actually a ROM hack of Soul Silver, believe it or not. There is also a Heart Gold counterpart. I think it's called Pure Heart, but I went with True Soul because, in my opinion, Lugia is just way better than Ho, but that is neither here nor there. So huge shout out to Gunsho or Gunsho. I'm not 100% sure the pronunciation on that, but that is of course the ROM hack's creator. Huge shout out to you and anybody else who may have been involved in creating this awesome ROM hack here. I'm very excited to jump into this. And it should probably go without saying that despite all of this Nintendo branding on here that we see all over the cartridge here, this is not an official Nintendo product in any way, shape, or form. It's just meant to kind of make it look cool, make it look good on a shelf. And also I should mention that Gunsho, the creators had nothing to do with this physical cartridge here. Like I said, I got this on AliExpress of all things, so it might not even work. So yeah, just wanted to put that separation there. But for those who might be interested in reading this, feel free to take a pause, or maybe you don't need to do that, but basically just talks a little bit about what is added into this game, which like I said, we'll go over a lot of that whenever we jump into the game. But first, I just wanted to take a look at this really neat custom case and of course cartridge, which we'll get to in a second. I like it, I'm not gonna lie. And I don't want to offend anybody, but this kind of reads AI art, and honestly, even if it is, I still think it looks cool. But if anybody happens to know where this art came from, feel free to let me know, link it down below, wherever, because it does look really cool, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little suspicious about it. But either way, overall, I do think that the box looks very great. I like the way that it's all pieces together here. I love the art that they choose to use. It's maybe beat up a little bit. You got this RGR, which obviously isn't normally there, and it's definitely one of those thicker cases. I don't think North America got this. I want to say this is like European, maybe Japanese. I'm not 100% sure, but definitely takes up a little bit more space on the shelf. But it's definitely not the most beat up case I've seen. It definitely feels decent. It's just a little scuffed up right here, but honestly, it's still fine at the end of the day. I think it looks the part. It looks very, very good. And opening up the inside, it gets pretty glary. I do apologize for that, but we'll just go ahead and pop this out. But yeah, this is definitely a reproduction thing. You can see it's got the Game Boy slot in there. I'll just go ahead and set that down there. But yes, here is the actual cartridge itself, True Soul. Let me focus in there. So yeah, I really like the colored cartridge for the DS cart. I feel like I never saw those. I don't know if that was like a real thing back in the day, but it's definitely a thing now, and I should go ahead and point out, for those who are unaware, I'm assuming this is going to be an R4 cartridge. You can see right here, it has this SD card right here. So essentially, if I had the tools to do this and the desire to do this, I could take that SD card out, put it in my computer, and probably put hundreds, thousands of games on here. It's definitely a great way if you're just trying to get all of your childhood collection back and you don't care physically. Then this is definitely the way to go with this kind of R4 cartridge. I don't know if there's other brands of it, but basically what I'm saying is it is kind of silly to buy these physically. I like to do it because I like to collect, but admittedly I could fit all I wanted and then some on this single cartridge here. But, like I said, I like to collect. It's just part of the reason why I do this. It's part of the reason I made the channel. So I'm definitely willing to take that risk, but I definitely don't recommend that you do what I do and just collect all of these silly little things. I do it because I like it, but definitely like a neat little thing to have. I definitely recommend if you collect DS games or just play DS, maybe get yourself one of these cartridges. Not from AliExpress, mind you. You can definitely find them much more reputable sites and markets, so just figured that that was worth pointing out, that that's basically what this is. This is like a 101 cartridge if you wanted it to be. So physically speaking, in my opinion, I think this looks pretty good. I like the choice of colored cartridge with the game True Silver. It's not blue necessarily, but it kind of fits the vibe. I definitely like everything about this physically. The case looks good, the cartridge looks good, but that is of course just one portion of the video. So now I'm gonna go ahead and pop this into the DS and see if the thing even works. So let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are with True Soul, and if you couldn't tell by the length of the video, yes, this game works. And not only does it work, I crushed my way through the Johto and Kanto leagues, I absolutely stomped the Elite Four, and I 100% had my way with Trainer Red on top of Mount Silver. Okay, not actually, he creamed me like he does 90% of the time, but that doesn't matter, that doesn't matter. Now, were there any glitches in the game? Thankfully, I did not experience any glitches. This is a ROM hack after all, so it kind of comes with the territory, so there totally could be some glitches present in the game, but for my experience, everything was pretty smooth. I didn't notice anything janky at all, so that is of course the best possible outcome we could have asked for. So what about the game itself? What about True Soul? What makes this a ROM hack worth playing? Well, admittedly, this is a fairly vanilla ROM hack. There's not a whole lot different from its original source, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but there still are several additions, both from Crystal and new things as well. So let's just go ahead and dive straight into that right away. I do usually start with the quality of life improvements, so let's just jump into it. Obviously, this is a DS game, so they did not add running shoes. I know that's usually the first thing I mention with these things, but running shoes already in the game. There were no unlimited TMs. I know that's kind of a staple in a lot of ROM hacks. They're not in every ROM hack, and as much as I like it, it's not the end of the world if it's not in the game. I'm totally fine with or without this feature, but I figured I'd mention that no unlimited TMs. But there was one quality that I did really love the inclusion of, and that is of course the trading link cable item. Which this is not the first ROM hack to have this item, at least I don't believe. I've definitely seen it in other games, and I absolutely love its addition, but for those who are unaware, basically this trading link cable item acts as an evolutionary item, so it allows you to get all of your trade evolution Pokemon without actually having to trade. I went ahead and tested it on my Kadabra to get an Alakazam, worked just fine, hadn't used one of those in forever, so it was really cool to be able to use an Alakazam again. And it's pretty simple to get. I want to say like, what, 30 minutes of those mini games. There's a Pokédome, the Pokédome thing from Heart Gold and Soul Silver by the National Park. You do that thing for, like I said, maybe 30 minutes or so, and you should get enough points to buy it at the vendors there. And it is a rotating shop, so it won't be in there every day, but if you're just patient enough, or you can just change the clock on your DS that way too, and just skip to the day that it shows up there. But yeah, pretty easy, and like I said, I love the addition. So what else does this game add? Well, like I said earlier, this game kind of tries to crystallize itself by adding in several elements from Pokemon Crystal that weren't present in the remakes. So you've got things like trainers that have made their way back into the game. There's that weird patch of grass outside of Violet City that I always forget is exclusive to Crystal. Very weird addition, but that is here as well. And we also have Crystal's encounters, so the wild Pokemon are going to be more accurate to Pokemon Crystal, so things like Teddiursa and Fanfy. Originally, in Gold and Silver, you don't get those till much later in the game, but in Crystal and this ROM hack as well, you're going to be getting access to those significantly earlier in the game. And that's not the only thing different about the Pokemon, not just the encounters, but the trainers themselves, even the gym leaders in Elite Four. They're all going to have differences, at least some of them. Maybe not literally everybody, but I do think every Johto gym leader at least had one difference. Which, if I'm being completely honest, I'm totally here for it. I really am. I love to glaze up Crystal and then Gen 2 in general, but it is pretty wild that the first two gym leaders of the region don't have any Johto rep, so needless to say, it was pretty cool when Faulkner whipped out a more anime-accurate team. It's nice to see Johto trainers using Johto Pokemon in the Johto region. Is that too much to ask for? Apparently. One of my favorite things about Pokemon Crystal, though, is the odd egg, I think it is, that second egg that you get from the daycare, right? It's got like an increased chance of being shiny. It's one of the various new baby Pokemon of the generation. I look forward to it every single time I play the game, even if I'm not going to use the thing. It's just a neat thing to have in the game. So I was definitely a little salty that it wasn't in Heart Gold and Salt Silver. And I'll be honest, I was a little shocked that it wasn't in this ROM hack. Now, I am dumb. I am known to be an idiot, so I could have just missed it, but I don't think that's the case. I did not see a way to get this odd egg from the daycare. So it was odd that there was no odd egg, but either way, not the end of the world. I'm not like knocking points or anything. That's not what this is. It's me just kind of rambling, right? But I definitely thought it was strange that there was no second egg in there, because to me that is just like a no-brainer. That is a very Crystal feature. So yeah, just a little strange. Now, while not directly from Crystal, it is Crystal adjacent, but this ROM hack does expand on Suicune and Eugene's story. So you're going to be having multiple more encounters with both Suicune and Eugene, throughout the Johto and Kanto regions. It kind of spreads throughout the whole game in a way. And, like I said, none of that's directly in Crystal version, but just having that focus on Suicune and Eugene definitely adds that Crystal-like element to the game. It's pretty cool. You even get like a second fight with Eugene on Victory Road, which I thought was really neat, having that updated team right before Victory Road. And now is probably a good time to bring up Victory Road, right? Gen 2's Victory Road is notorious for being terrible, right? And you will find no bigger Gen 2 glazer than me, but it is pretty wild that there were no trainers in Victory Road. I mean, it's the final test before the final test. There should be trainers there, right? Well, no, not in the originals, but in here, they do actually add trainers into Victory Road. And just like the trading link cable item, I know this isn't the first and only ROM hack to add trainers to Victory Road Gen 2, but man, I gotta say, I love that addition. I love having Pokemon diversity in Gen 2 games, but honestly, when it comes to Victory Road, if a ROM hack's doing Gen 2, put trainers in Victory Road. Holy cow, that is just so nice. It's like I said, it's the final test before the final test. There needs to be trainers in there. Love that they were in here. It helps with that slight level increase. It pads out the game, fluffs it, just makes it feel more impactful. The Johto games, they're all pretty easy. The remakes kind of make it a bit more difficult, but then it's still pretty easy. And I would say this kind of continues that trajectory, right? Like, it's still an easy Johto game, but things just got a little bit more, tough. Like Kanto, the post-game Kanto, I would say across the board, the Kanto region is significantly more competent in this ROM hack here. There's no more measly level 20 wild Pokemon. All the trainers and gym leaders, everybody's just more buffed in this game. It feels like we're actually working towards something like the post-game, because Kanto's post-game. It just feels like an actual threat. Not a threat, but like I said, it's more competent. It's more of a challenge, and I definitely appreciate that twist in this game. It all makes for just a great time, which I did. I had such a great time playing True Soul. It's a pretty simple and vanilla ROM hack, sure, but there's room for both ROM hacks. It's nice to have something a bit more simple, but it's also nice to have those crazy, just super ambitious, awesome ROM hack experiences. And I think I needed to start with this one to kind of get my foot in the door with the DS ROM hack community. So it was just a blast playing through this game. I had such a fun time. It's simple, but if you like Johto, if you like Gen 2, I cannot recommend enough that you check out this really nice ROM hack experience. It's a good time. All right, that is going to bring us to the end of the video, the end of True Soul, and I had a fun time. It was simple, sure, but like I said, there's room for both kind of ROM hacks out there. It's a fun time all around. So again, huge shout out to Gunsho or Gunsho, and anybody else who may have been involved in creating this awesome ROM hack experience. I'm glad I started with this one. I didn't want to start with something too crazy and be overwhelmed and just end up not wanting to play any more of these. So huge shout out to you, and like I said, anybody else who is involved in the creation of this ROM hack. It was such a wonderful game. I'm definitely going to play it again one day. I have no doubt in my mind. And I cannot recommend enough that you all check out True Soul and shout out the creator. Give them some love and attention, because this was just such a fun time. But if you all enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see from me in the future, more DS games and ROM hacks, or if I should maybe stay in my lane and stick with the Game Boy stuff. Either way, I want to hear it from you, so just leave all that down below, and don't forget to subscribe for more content. But until next time, I'll see you all later.